Hey, this is JJ WILDE for United Rock Nations.
So, hi. First of
Hello.
all, congratulations on a really awesome EP.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I had such a great time listening to it many times.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That was yeah, it was definitely a different way of doing things this time. We did the whole thing in COVID, and it was all recorded remotely. Some of the songs were recorded in my apartment, the vocals in like a closet.
Oh, so
so
like
it,
last time we did an interview, what was it, 2020? So like a year
oh,
ago.
sorry, there's a lag here. Sorry, you're breaking up there. Hello.
Yes.
It just like froze out. Sorry, can you repeat that?
So last time I saw you was like a year ago, in 2020. How far along were you back then?
So with the EP, you mean?
Yeah.
So at that point, I think we had just done the closet ones. It was Mercy and Best Boy. Um, I think those were the ones that we had recorded. I'm trying to
Yeah, because the
think.
the video of Best Boy had like just come out like a short time just
Okay.
before then.
Yeah, so at that point we just had Best Boy, and I think Mercy was either in the middle of writing it or
Okay.
potentially recording, but I don't remember. I'm trying to think of when we actually recorded, like did the vocals in my apartment for Mercy. It was in the winter, so it would have been, oh God, my memory's so bad. But there was like a few of the songs that were done kind of at in that time, and then closer to the release of the EP was when we finished the last, I think it was like three. So it was a little bit split up, because again, it was all done remotely. So
Yeah.
we had been working on these songs for the past little bit, but there wasn't really any rush to put them out right away. And we had some time to kind of sit with them and go back with different notes and all that. So it was very different. It took um, a lot more time than the other ones have. And I mean, with that comes time to like overthink everything and,
Yeah.
a million no's that maybe don't need to happen, but that's the way it worked out. So it's fun that that all the projects have come together in such different ways for me. I think that's a good thing.
So you decided on an EP rather than going for an album for your first like big release. Was that something you really wanted, versus another or
Yeah, I mean, I think I wanted to just kind of introduce a new sound, just kind of dipping my toes into something else and experimenting a little bit. And then now I'm working on an album.
ooh.
I just came back from a 2-month writing trip in LA, and I got a ton of songs. I met a ton of different writers and producers and people, and it was such a great experience after not, I was just writing it by myself in my apartment for the past year and a half. So it was so inspiring to get back in the room with people and to have that kind of one-on-one experience writing a song. I really, really missed that. So for me, this next kind of chapter and project is putting all of those things together and continuing to write. I want to take my time with this next one and really think things through, plan it out, have a clear vision for it. So yeah, I'm trying really hard to be patient because I'm the worst for like when I have new songs, I just want to put them out immediately, and my manager's like, "No, like you can't do that."
Keep them to
So
yourself.
yeah, so I'm trying really hard to do that.
So um you decided that this EP was going to be named Wild. Was that kind of, to introduce yourself to the world? Here I am.
A little bit. Yeah, it's kind of self-reflective, a bit of an introduction. It's also kind of just, me. I think the songs on there, they're all very different, but they all come from the same place. And so for me, it was kind of like a self-titled thing for myself and an introduction of who I am and that kind of thing. And also just, being wild. Very classic, there's not much to it.
Well, it works. It totally works, and it totally goes with the full vibe of the album, the EP.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Soon with an album.
Maybe soon.
So yeah, you recorded remotely, like everything?
Yeah, it literally was insane. My producer, he's usually so Frederick is from Denmark, but we would get together in LA. He had a studio there and he was based there for quite a while. But with the pandemic, he ended up going back to Denmark. And so we were doing everything remotely, where we would literally just have FaceTime and Zoom writing sessions. And then we would have constant calls of talking about what the sound is going to be like. And he would get the first kind of bit of the track down and send it over, and I'd make my notes. And we had so much back and forth. I've never done a record like that. And it was fun. I mean, I prefer being there in the room. It was fun as an experience, but I definitely prefer the other way of doing it. But it was great with Frederick too, because we've worked together on everything that I've done so far. And so we already have a great working relationship where we can feed off of each other, and the conversation is very open and honest, and there's no egos. It's just kind of for the best of the song. And so having that existing relationship was so important when we were doing everything remotely, because it's over the phone, things can get misunderstood or translated.
There's a good rapport there. There's not really much left unsaid, and totally.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt very lucky that we were in that situation, working together again. It just felt like old times.
What was your reaction when you first heard the whole EP?
Oh, sorry. You cut out again. I think it's the Wi-Fi here is not good.
Oh, shake the computer.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you first heard the whole EP?
I mean, for me, it's so close to me that I had been listening to these songs over and over and over and analyzing them and making notes on them, and just like I had been listening to them for months. So when I listened to the full EP, there wasn't really like a surprise or anything like that. It was more of just kind of listening and thinking about what the listener is going to hear, and kind of, it was really exciting to hear them in order. I loved that part of it, because that I waited to the very end. I didn't listen to them in order until the EP was put together. But yeah, it was just exciting that it's kind of a relief as well, that like, okay, it's out, it's done, I love it. Here it is. But,
was the order of the songs on the EP something you decided together, or something you decided on your own?
No, we I can't remember. I think it was my manager and I that had a phone call about it, and we had been going over different ideas. I had probably written that out. Oh, I don't even know how many times. It's probably like 3 pieces of paper that are just covered in lists of the songs in different orders. That's one of my favorite parts of putting out music, is deciding I call it like the set list, right? It's like when you're playing a live show, you write the set list out. And for me, I always sing in my head the beginning and end of every song, and I hum it out and think like, okay, how's that going to go into the next one? And what are people going to feel right after they hear this one? And what do I want them to feel right after? So that's always super fun for me. But it's also kind of terrifying, because once it's made, then you can't just like play it a different way the next night, like it's out. And that's the way it is. So that's always kind of intimidating, but it's really fun.
So let's talk about Wild. So I thought the album had a very kind of like strong but fun vibe, very, in your face, and at the same time super chill. It was a lot of like contradictions coming together in a really like fun, interesting way. So Bushweeds kind of starts off the EP in a like yeah, let's go for it. Let's have fun. It had kind of a summer vibe to it, I thought when I listened to it. Um, and then right after that, Off the Rails kind of like, whoa. So was that a contrast that you really wanted to have with those two songs?
Yes. I'm really glad you picked up on the summer vibe because
Yay.
Bushweed for me was kind of like, that's what it was for me. My favorite thing about the summer, and like, even when I was younger, my favorite thing was to like smoke a joint and sit outside and play music and just like kind of mess around on my guitar, write songs, or just like listen to music. Like one of my favorite things is being in nature, smoking weed. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's like one of my favorite things to do. So just like going for hikes or anything. So for me, that song was kind of the anthem of the summer that I wanted. And then Off the Rails, yeah, it was intentional. I wanted it to be like, whoa, these are two very different things than what I've put out before. And I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to be something that people hadn't heard and take them by surprise a little bit, or just kind of, you know, as an artist, I want my music to evolve. I want it to grow. As, you know, I think people in general, you should never stop trying to evolve and grow, or else you kind of stay stagnant. So I wanted that to be kind of the introduction, and then Mercy and those songs are a bit more my style and what I'm comfortable with, but I wanted there to be both on there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like it starting off the EP, having heard some of the other songs you did before, it really was like a very interesting contrast and very fun to listen to you kind of grow into different things while still keeping kind of your sound. I actually think Off the Rails and Mercy are probably two of my favorite songs of the EP. Wonderful
Thank
job.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, they're all super close to me. All my songs are, you know, they have a place in my heart, but I'd say Mercy is probably one of the most heartfelt songs. Definitely
Yeah,
the
you can
most
totally
heartfelt
feel
song.
that in the song. It's like, oh, it's great. So I saw that you had a couple of visualizers that came out on your YouTube and a couple of live videos as well.
Yes.
Is it super important to you to have kind of a visual with a song? And especially with the live ones, is it something you like to kind of like show and see how much heart you put into it for your audience?
Yeah, I definitely think having a visual for the songs is important, because as music goes, there's always, when I listen to music, I kind of think of movies in my head. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or like their own music video. And even for other artists, even if I haven't seen their music video yet, there's something that like visually kind of happens in my head when I listen to music. So I definitely think it's important for the artist to be able to express that and to have something for people to attach visually to the song, to remind them of it, or to create their own, you know. And then the live aspect, we hadn't played a show in, you know, a year and a half. So it was so much fun to just be able to get on stage and play these new songs for whatever audience we could. And definitely as an artist, I would love for my songs to sound as good live as they do on the record. That's the goal for me, is being able to replicate and do it better live. So I think that's really important. I don't know. I hope I accomplished it, but who fucking knows? Everyone's got an opinion.
I mean, honestly, like I thought they sounded awesome live and like you can tell that you really put your heart into a performance and you really go for it. So
Thank you.
great job, great performance.
Thank you. I
Um
appreciate
I also saw that you did a couple of like more, I guess, like toned down covers. Um, is that something you really wanted to like share with the people who listen to you, have a kind of more intimate feel?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these songs I write, usually all my songs are written on guitar, of just, if it's me just kind of strumming by myself or in a room with somebody, but a lot of the times it starts in that place of very raw acoustic music. And I intentionally do that because I find if you have a good song, if the bones are there, it's going to sound good stripped down on its own. It doesn't need a ton of production to be a good song if the bones are there. And then you add the stuff after and then you make it into what it is. But I love when you can take a song and just strip it down and it's still, you know, nice to listen to. And I think so yeah, that's definitely intentional. It's kind of bringing it back to where it started. And yeah, I love when artists do that too. I love when I hear an artist and they have like, you know, this crazy production on a pop song and then they decide to like just strip it down to piano or guitar and something. And then you really hear the bones of it, of when they wrote it, and you can kind of picture that writing you know,
process
session.
and
Yeah, the process. Like I think it's fun. It takes it back a little bit.
Yeah. Do you have kind of from those live performances a song that you really, really enjoyed doing live?
I love doing Off the Rails live. That one to me, I don't know, there's just something about it. I get this like really like cocky sense of like confidence when I sing it for some reason. I don't know why. I kind of feel like just like fucking around.
Yeah.
But no, I love playing all of them. I love playing all the songs live. But I definitely think Off the Rails, it gets me into this like
You
I
kind
love
of have that in the visualizer as well, kind of that like in the streets, like vibe, down to earth, kind of in your face.
That's what I wanted, you know, but yeah, it gives me a good energy to start the show with. And yeah, I don't know.
Oh, and we have to talk about Stop Dragging My Heart Around with Brett Emmons from the Glorious Sons.
Yes.
How did this come about? Did you already listen to his music and want to work with him? Like, how did that come together?
So I've known Brett for a long time. I've known him since before I was signed with my label. So when I met, I'm trying to think, this is like going back like 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
So we always kind of knew each other through the music industry, and then we're signed to the same label. And so obviously saw him through that. I did my first 2 tours. It was like 2 or 3 tours I did opening for the Glorious Sons, except I was like the opener of the opener because nobody knew who I was. So that I kind of started out with touring with them, which was great. And then yeah, it kind of was an obvious choice when my manager brought up the idea of doing a cover, and I had never really experimented with covering other artists' songs, like putting that out. I'd done it in sets before and playing them live for sure. I've done a ton of that, but I had never really thought about recording a cover. And so it was just a pretty organic process of thinking about, okay, classic songs that we grew up on and different things like that. And then he had suggested Brett, and I was like, well, fuck yeah, I love working with Brett. So great. And he was all for it. So it was pretty organic the way it ended up. And again, it was all recorded remotely, which was crazy. So weird. Such a weird thing.
So you guys worked together but didn't.
Yeah, literally. It's so strange. But it was a very cool experience. I mean, it's a learning experience teaching you how to communicate with people when you can't be in the room, when you're working on the same thing together, is very difficult. Like I was saying, that existing working relationship is really important because it's hard to get a sense for somebody just over the phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I had some great writing sessions in the pandemic where I felt like I did really make a connection with people. But then I'm always thinking like, well, imagine if we had this connection over Zoom, imagine what in the room would feel like, you know what I mean? So yeah, but it was great. It was so much fun.
Well, I think like it's in the last songs, it kind of puts a neat end to the EP, that you have some really strong emotional songs in there, something a bit fun with the duet, because you could really hear that you guys are having fun. even though the lyrics are like intense, but
yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do that. And I think that actually that was recorded in my apartment as well, those vocals.
oh, well, there you go. Was it a closet song?
It was. It was a closet song.
And of course, we find Best Boy back again on the EP, which I already thought was super strong and like just out there. I love it. I thought it brought the EP to a very nice close.
Thank you.
Did you want to kind of finish it with a bang?
Yes. I mean, Best Boy, when we put that song out and the visual and everything with it, it was very empowering for me. Obviously as a woman in the music industry, and also having been a server and bartender and pretty much customer service part-time jobs my whole life, I've seen and dealt with a ton of shit, and a lot of people, telling you what to do or judging you based on what you wear, how you hold yourself, and all these different things. And I think all of it's fucking bullshit. I think you have to do what makes you happy and not give a shit about what anybody says or thinks, because everybody has an opinion and no one's is right. You know what I mean? Especially when when it's talking about your happiness and your confidence and everything like that. No woman should ever have to feel ashamed because they want to wear a certain thing. And no man should ever have to feel ashamed because they want to wear a certain thing either. It just goes both ways of these societal norms and things that have been placed on people in general that I think are absolute bullshit. So for me, like making that video and what I was wearing in the video and kind of being exposed and everything, the night before I made the video, I was like, well, what if people don't take me seriously because I'm dressed this way or blah, blah, blah. And then I caught myself being like, what the fuck? That's exactly why I'm doing this, because I shouldn't have to worry about that. I shouldn't have to worry that my career won't be taken seriously or I won't be taken seriously as an artist because I'm in lingerie. Like, fuck that. It's so ridiculous. So then at the end of the day, when we had made the video and it all came to a wrap, I felt so good and I felt so empowered, and I felt like exactly why I felt like I knew exactly why I was doing it, because of those feelings, because of being scared about it and then doing it and being like, wait a second, this feels great. Like, you know what I mean? It was cool. It was a good learning experience.
So this is a question I wanted to ask. What has kind of your experience been as a woman in today's music industry in kind of, the rock sphere?
It's been great. I definitely, there's a lot of shit that you deal with, but it's also how you hold yourself and what you accept as well. I mean, I've had a lot of misogynistic assholes try to tell me what to do or say or whatever, or, not take me seriously because I'm a woman. And I don't let that stuff affect me. I don't let their negativity and what they have to say have anything to do with me, because I don't have time for that shit. I don't want to even acknowledge it. You know what I mean? Like it's so frustrating that this happens, and we have to acknowledge that that's a problem. That's not what I'm trying to say. Like that is a thing. But personally, I'm not going to cry about it, because if I was to let it really get to me every single time some asshole man tried to tell me something or give me a dirty look because I'm wearing this or whatever, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't have, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
fuck
totally.
them. But also the other thing I have to say is nobody puts fucking toilet paper in the washrooms because every guy just pisses standing up. And that's the real issue. No.
The real issue is having to bring your own toilet paper.
Yes, no. I'm just kidding. But,
I feel it.
Yeah.
Do you have a message for all the women out there?
Oh, for all the women, I would say, don't let assholes tell you what to do. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. The only person that knows what's best for you is you, and don't compromise yourself for anybody. Don't compromise your happiness. Don't compromise your morals. Don't compromise shit, because again, everybody has an opinion. The only one that matters is your own and how you feel about yourself at the end of the day. If you made yourself happy, if you've made yourself proud, then you're doing okay.
Beautiful message. I'm down for it.
And bring your own toilet paper. No.
So I saw that there is a European tour in the works. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I cannot wait. Yeah, so we're going over in December, I guess end of November, December. It'll be my first time in Europe doing music. I went to France last September in 2020 to do some like radio stuff, and I was on this TV showcase called Tratata, which is like a music showcase there, and had a great response, very warm response. So I can't wait to go back. I've never been to play shows there. That's the only kind of thing I've done so far.
Yeah, and you're playing in Paris in December, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we're doing Paris, we're doing Germany, Amsterdam, UK. I feel like I'm missing one, but yeah, so it'll be the first time. It's first time headlining as well. So I'm just excited to see what the crowds are like, because I'm kind of going in blind, you know, I'm hoping for the best. But I think it's
hey, I'm probably gonna be there, so can't
wait. Yes, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
So when you have a live show, what's kind of the most important thing to you when you're setting up, when you're going out there?
I'd say the most important thing is just putting on a good show, trying to be present and in the moment, you know, not letting on tour. Sometimes you can get tired, you know, there's a lot of late nights and early mornings and a lot of that. I think the most important thing for me is just making sure that each show has the same amount of energy and presence, because everybody in the audience is there to enjoy the music and to be with you. And if you ever forget about that and you make it like a personal thing about your own bad day or whatever the fuck's going on, it's not fair to the people that just came there to support you and to be there for you. You know what I mean? So for me, it's the most important thing is never forgetting that everybody there, each show is new for them. Even if it's, you know, the third week and we've done 25 shows, that 26th show, they haven't seen you yet. So they deserve the same energy and the same amount of commitment and all of that as the first one, which can be hard sometimes, but also it's, I find the crowd also brings a certain energy that really like kind of reinvigorates you and makes you awake and be like, oh yeah, this is why we're doing it. Fuck yeah.
Especially with all the live shows that no one could do for, you know, the last year.
Yeah, there is no being tired on this next tour. Like we've had a year and a half to fucking rest. There's no there's no tired.
And I think the audiences are going to be even more pumped up, even more energetic, because, you know, no one's been able to really go out and enjoy concerts. So
yeah,
you're gonna have a blast.
Wait. I cannot wait, man. Like it's the first show back that we did, the energy was insane. Like it was so hard for me not to cry, because I was just like, holy shit, like I've been waiting for this for so long. And like, yeah, I can't wait.
Well, I'm super excited for you, and I can tell you that I'm pretty sure a bunch of us from the magazine are going to be there. So
awesome.
It was super exciting to talk to you again. Thank you so much.
Of course, it's always great talking to you.